Right, this is a video for a Toyota Land Cruiser. This is a 3-litre diesel LC4 automatic. Car's covered a very low mileage. I think it's only about 54,000, but I'll verify that when I get back into the car in a second. Just 2 private owners from new and benefits from a wonderful service history. Just going to go around the car for you and pick up on anything I can. Lenses on the side, completely clear, and very little stone chipping on the bottom. There's a couple of very small ones which you can just about make out, which haven't been touched in by us, but you know, very few and far between for a vehicle of this age. Offside front wing is very clean. Dunlop Grand Track on the front, really good quality tyre. The only thing on this is the alloys. Obviously this is a sort of 12-year-old car, so you have got a little bit of sort of corrosion coming through, or pickling on the alloy itself, but you know, it is fairly minor. Come down the side of the car, it's really clean and crisp. There'll be the odd very light little mark, you know, you can't get away from that, but really it's very clean. Rear tyre, again another Grand Track Dunlop, again loads of tread and alloy, very much like the front one there. It's very good overall, but just it's very original. That's one thing I would say. Come around the back of the car, it's the spare wheel covers all intact. Looks pretty much unmarked as well. It's in really good condition. This car's fitted with parking sensors which work absolutely perfectly as well. Back of the car's really nice order. And coming down this near side here again, you can see just how clean and crisp this example is. We should expect, given such a a lovely low mileage and such wonderful ownership. Again, another Dunlop Grand Track. Again, very good tread and alloy on the side. Probably slightly better than the other ones, but it's still a little bit there, but very little. The panel work really is very clean and tidy. Finally, last Dunlop just to match the others, and again alloy, much like the back one there, a bit better than the other side actually. But all in all, exterior wise, car's in really very good condition. You're going to be hard pushed to find one quite as nice as this one. I'm just going to come into the back of the car now. Rear offside door card, absolutely superb condition. The whole of the interior is in absolutely wonderful condition. I've got the rear seats up just to show you really just the rearmost seats. It gives you a better look at those, but they are in absolutely super condition. They really are. The whole interior has been kept beautifully. Carpets are all absolutely stunning. Obviously it's an 8-seater car, so you've got the 3 belts in the back here, and then you've got 3 across the middle and then 2 in the front. Right, now just show you the back of the front seats, completely unmarked. There's no skags, tears, feet marks in there at all. Absolutely stunning condition. Leather work on the back seat, really just doesn't look like anyone sat on there. It's absolutely just kept its shape. Leather work's absolutely spot on. It really is a wonderful example. Come to the front, driver's door card, again as with everything else, been kept in top condition. Sill area is all very good indeed. There's a full set of mats around in the vehicle from what I remember. Leather work again on the front seats, very good. Even the bolsters here are good. There's only a tiniest little bit of wear there, which gives any indication the car's done any work at all. Front passenger seat, really just again in stunning condition. So finally just sat in the car now. Obviously engine's running as it has been all the way through, but the interior really is. This is one of the very best LC Toyota Land Cruisers we've had. I've got one myself, which is absolutely wonderful, but it certainly isn't as good as this one. Everything you touch, everything you see is in top condition. Air conditioning's blowing out ice cold air as we speak. Nothing I've pressed that hasn't worked at all. Dashboard there, you can see we've got 55,393 miles. No warning lights on the car at all, and it really is in top condition. I mean, it's one that you kind of need to see to be appreciated. It's not a new car, so there will be the odd sort of minor little mark on the exterior and possibly even on the interior, but given what I normally see with Land Cruisers, which have been kind of used for their purpose, then it's a delight to see one just as well maintained as this particular car has been. Just quickly show you here, obviously you've got the full lock and wheel nut set for the vehicle and the original owner's manual pack and all the manuals that came with the car when it was new. So finally to the service book, I'm just going to go through this with you. It's lovely service history. We've got services there at 10, 14, 19, 23, 28, 33, 41, 46, 49, 54 and 55. So it's got an absolutely stunning service history with the vehicle as well. Right, this is a road test video for a Toyota Land Cruiser. This is a 3 litre LC4 model. Mileage on the car currently is 55,380 miles, and registration number of the car is SG54OBP. Reason we do these road tests now is, if you've seen any of our other videos you'd know, is basically we're selling to people all over the near continent and the extremes of the UK, and we just feel it's right that if you're coming to see a car of ours that you're hopefully looking to buy, then you know whether to make that trip or not, judged by the road test that we do here, before you obviously come to us. We don't want to kind of waste your time, quite clearly. What I try and do in these road tests is just to mimic kind of what you do yourself on the same roads that you'll be doing it on as well. So in essence, I always start with obviously the engines of the car. Now clearly this is a low mileage example, one of these cars, and I have one of these cars personally at the moment, so probably in quite a good place to judge it. Engine starts absolutely on the spot. It's a very, very sweet revving engine, settles to a very smooth, very even idle, pulls really nicely. It's a lovely torquey engine, which is why they're hugely popular for towing, and I certainly do with my one, although I don't think this one's fitted with a tow bar, which in a way is good, means it's never towed. Look at it two ways, I guess. First thing I noticed is the windscreen wiper's rubbish on that side, so we'll get that changed straight away. But no, the engine in here is just idling absolutely rock solid. There's no fluctuations, no fluttering of it at all. Pulls really hard, really powerfully, loads of low down torque. The turbo spools up straight away. Very, very little lag on it. I wouldn't expect there to be any issues with these engines. They're wonderful, wonderful units, even with massive mileages on them. Engine then goes to this automatic gearbox, classic Toyota affair. Really well engineered, very, very high quality of gear shift. And again, when I put it from neutral into drive or neutral into reverse, there's no delays, there's no clonks, there's no bangs. So they have a reputation for taking absolutely enormous mileages in their stride, both the engines and the gearboxes, and this one gives every impression of being capable of doing that. I simply can't fault the drivetrain of the car in any way, shape or form. Looking quickly at the dashboard, the binnacle here, no warning lights on the car at all relating to the engine or anything else for that matter. Also got the air conditioning on today, blowing out absolutely ice cold, so again absolutely perfect. I'll wait to get up to speed just to sort of comment on the brakes in a second, but certainly the steering is, it tracks absolutely bullet straight. I can't, up to this point, I haven't found any vibration coming back through, and it has that, which is rare in quite a big four-wheel driver. A sense of almost precision to the way it steers. It's not vague and wallowy like some, proper four-wheel drives, and this one certainly qualifies as that. Can show themselves to have, but I mean, yeah, it just says bullet straight there. Horrible day. Sleet at the moment. It's just spring for you. Wonderful. But yeah, there's no vibration at all through the steering wheel of the car. Suspension, very, very smooth riding cars. You can do quite huge mileages, and in real and genuine comfort. Actually, it's a very, very smooth riding car. But that doesn't mean it's horribly wallowy or unwieldy. Let's get past this car. It's going unbelievably slow to show it's got plenty of punch to it. Certainly goes well. But here at speed again, to show you steering, no vibration there at all. I'm just going to give it a check behind, make sure there's no cars directly behind me. Brake pedal, lovely and solid, right at the right point of the pedal as well. When you hit the brakes, there's no sort of pulsing on the brake pedal, and that can, you know, show you that it may have a, you know, to walk discs or otherwise. Because obviously brakes on big, heavy automatic cars, you know, they're things that can take quite a battering actually. But this is really good. God, what a horrible, horrible day. Suspension, as I said, you know, it really errs the side of, you know, it's got to obviously fit 2 rolls, be kind of very capable off-road, but comfortable, and it's, you know, certainly compared to most of its direct competitors, you know, it's got that absolutely spot on. It's a really lovely ride on the car. It's so well judged. It doesn't, you know, and it doesn't even do 3 quarters like that. It doesn't just suddenly roll over on you. It keeps it all together fantastically well. You know, clearly, obviously, whoever's had this car, as you know from the service history of the vehicle, has absolutely maintained it to the very, very highest level, and you can just sense that through driving the car here. You know, we've had some very low mileage one. I had a late 10 plate one recently, and that didn't drive any more solidly than this, or with any greater feeling of kind of tightness about it. You know, every single function, every movement of every wheel on the car displays not an ounce of wear. And quite often when you drive a car on road tests, especially when it's, you know, even though it's a low mileage, it's still ultimately a, you know, 11-12-year-old car, and that normally will show back through the vehicle. But there is, it just shows how brilliantly engineered these cars are. Actually, just how well this car still drives. There's no, you know, there's nothing coming back through this vehicle, through the steering, the suspension, the drive line, and backing on off the throttle. There's no kind of drive line shunt, which again you get a little bit of delay with a bit of wear in the system. You know, anyone that comes and drives this car who can tell me different to what I'm experiencing now, then please do so, because I can't find anything on it at all. It's absolutely brilliant. You know, what I love about them is, you know, obviously this is again low mileage one. It's in, you know, very, very, very fine order inside. We've not touched it or cleaned it. It literally arrived an hour or 2 ago, and you know, it's in lovely order in here. It's, you know, very, very simple to, you know, to operate inside. It's not a cluster of buttons everywhere, but every button you press in the car has that wonderful, you know, quality of, you know, the Japanese actually sort of have in their cars. It's not overdone. It's not ostentatious. It's just a really nicely done car. And as an example of one, you know, I think, you know, if you're looking for a genuinely very well looked after Land Cruiser, not one that's been an ex-builder's one and, you know, hauling sort of mini diggers around, this one has been beautifully kept and drives incredibly well. You know, it is kind of old school, you know, and I love it for that. Actually, I think it's got a, you know, there is a bit of a sense of occasion driving the car, and these lanes, you know, close to where I live, are its kind of natural domain. It's you know, you can imagine, you know, just taking a hard left, opening a 5-bar gate, and driving across a ploughed field in it. It's got that feeling that it'll do anything you want it to. But, you know, I'm struggling to find something to really pick on the car, but at this stage I can't really find a great deal. It's come to us, I think it had a couple of little scrazes on the bumpers, you know, just again over the years, and they're getting attended to in a couple of days' time. They're only minor, there's no structural, it's just, you know, cosmetic surface scratch, where they've just sort of glanced something. But you know, interior wise it's in very fine order, and there's not, you know, there's not a squeak or sort of rattle from the dashboard at all. You wouldn't expect it to. I mean, they say they're quite beautifully made. You know, and I know, you know, I don't incur the wrath of, you know, the Land Rover Brigade, you know, who produce some, you know, very fine cars. But you know, there's a reason that the majority of the world sort of entrusts sort of getting from A to B and these things in sort of horrible situations, because they've just got, you know, this depth of engineering you don't feel in those products, and you don't get the problems with these that you do with those cars from our experience, which is why
we don't touch them anymore. Whereas these, they're a really good, trustworthy vehicle. But, you know, I said I can't, you know, normally the only things I can fault on the vehicle thus far, you know, would be just the wiper on the car and you know, a couple of sort of exterior blemishes. But, you know, that is some pretty trivial stuff. You know, if I've missed anything fundamental or obvious on this road test, as brief as it may be, I apologise. We do the best we can with them, but I will say absolutely hand on heart, if you're coming to drive the car, you'll be coming to drive a very, very, very fine car, which basically exhibits, I can't find anywhere in the drive of the car at all.